Hey everybody, Mishaela here, and welcome back to another episode of Shining Force. As you recall, in the last episode, we finally finished the fight against Cain, retrieved the Sword of Darkness, and came back here to Rudo to talk to Corinne and her sister Karen. Found out about a sword called the Chaos Breaker, and we're told that we should continue with what we were originally planning to do, which was heading to Prompt. So with all that said now, let's actually leave and try to head down south, which is the way that Karen told us to go to actually get to Prompt from Rudo here. So you head up over this way. And when you head out of town, you instantly get into another fight here and run into Mishaela again after such a long time. Well, hero, we meet again. Once more, for the last time, I fear, as you will die here. My minions shall take care of you, but if they fail, I await you in Demon Castle. Okay, so before we actually get started in this, let me go over this fight. This is actually going to be a rather lengthy fight, because we start up here by Rudo, and we have to travel all the way down over here, down through the mountains here, all the way down along the coast this way, to the bottom of the screen, then down to the left here where these guys are. And we do have a couple new enemies in this fight, but I will get to them in a second. The enemies in this fight consist of 3 gargoyles, 4 golems, 2 high priests, 4 master mages, and then there's 2 new enemies called Belials, which are a stronger version of the gargoyle, with the ability to cast Bolt level 1, and 2 bowmasters. And these guys are the Belials, with 21 HP, 35 MP, 26 attack, 20 defense, 6 move, 22 agility, and as I just said, they can cast Bolt level 1. And then they also have a hidden ability like the puppets did where they can moan. And if they moan when they attack you, they actually steal about 5 MP from a character. So be careful when you're mages, as you don't want to have too much MP stolen from them by these guys. And then our other new enemy, the bowcasters, are these guys, who are using an assault shell as their weapon, which is another arrow type ranged weapon. So these guys can attack from quite a bit of range, with 18 HP, 40 attack, 11 defense, 7 move, and 14 agility. So they can hit rather hard from range, so be very careful of that. Make sure when you're fighting them you get up close so that they can't hit you too easily, that is. Alright, so with that said, I'm just going to start moving while I look at stuff a little bit. And for the moment, you're not too much at risk, but because we do have a gargoyle right here, you don't want to put your mages too far towards the bottom because the gargoyle will head straight for them. And don't forget the gargoyle can cast Muddle. Alright, so let's kind of move these guys over and spread them out a tiny bit to help alleviate the possibility of getting a group of people casted muddled on. Alright, so he's gonna head right over and attack our leader. The gargoyle attacks, does 1 point of damage. And as you saw there, the gargoyles and Belials, because they're flying, they can fly right over the mountain ranges without having to worry about going around them like most units need to. So that is something to keep in mind. No, Ken's a bit high. I kind of want to give someone else a chance for some experience on the gargoyle here. let's have Chris move down and attack him. Alright, so Chris attacks the gargoyle evades, and she gains 1 experience. Okay, so now we're back to Tao. I'm going to move her up there because she's actually kind of high leveled and I don't really want to have too many people towards level 8 and 9 to get, you know, too much experience right now. So Lao does 16 points of damage and got 24 experience. We'll move Henri over that way too. Xylo, you can move over a little bit as well. Sure, May, we'll have you finish it off. Alright, so May attacks. She does 18 points of damage and defeats the gargoyle. Got 19 experience and 440 coins. Alright, so let's start moving everyone over a little more. Gonna group everyone back up a little bit because we're gonna start moving into the thick grass, where their movement's going to be reduced a little further than it is right now. Alright, as you saw there, once we got closer to the opening where the bowcaster and that golem were, we actually triggered this Belial right here to start moving up towards us. So that's something to keep in mind there. That as you start getting closer to where the first pass between the mountains is, the first of the 3 Belials is going to start moving towards you. Alright, let's move Lao a little bit up and out of the way. Same with Henri there. You'll be okay for a little bit. Move Gort up a little bit further. Still trying to keep everyone close together more or less. Now don't forget that golems actually have like about 22 attack and defense, so they can hit and block. Nope, okay, there it was. You just heard a moan, but it actually is an ability called Demon Smile. And when they use that, if your character actually has any MP, it'll steal about 5 MP from the character to restore theirs. But luckily for us, they were stupid enough to use it on a character that doesn't have any. Alright, so Bobroy attacks the Belial, and it completely evades his attack, and he only gains 1 experience. So just remember to keep in mind that once you start moving past this point, all the way down here, except for this part along the beach here, everything else from this point on essentially is reduced movement because it's all forests and mountains. So you're not going to be moving quite as quickly as well. So that'll also make this fight take a while, aside from the fact that you do have to move quite a bit to get through it. Is that the terrain is going to make you be moving a lot slower than you normally would be because of that. Alright, so this gargoyle is going to try to muddle Ken here. The spell doesn't work, so thankfully we still have use of Ken right now. Then this one, I think he's just attacking him. Oh nope, he's casting Muddle as well. And it doesn't work again. Now as you might notice, Muddle level 1, although it only affects 1 person and it isn't quite as effective, or in other words, it doesn't always work. Hang on, or attacking Belial here. So Ernest attacks the Belial and it evades his attack. He attacks again and inflicts 11 points of damage, got 26 experience. There will be enemies that show up later on, like gargoyles and Belials, that have like muddle level 2 or 3, and those can actually hit those can actually hit groups of characters and are a lot more effective at actually getting it successfully casted on them. So down the road, you do want to be more careful with enemies that do have muddle on them, with muddle as an ability to cast. Now, as you can see, Xylo is obviously not being too affected by the terrain, as per usual, and if you're using Alban or Balbaroy like I am, because they're flying, they're not affected by the terrain at all either. But other than that, everyone else is going to be rather slowed down throughout the rest of this fight, as far as moving them around comes. So I'm going to have her cast Blaze level 3 on these 2 gargoyles here. She hits the first gargoyle for 14 points of damage, and the second one for 14 points of damage. Gains 24 experience. Alright, let's move Lau up there. Sorry, I was just thinking for a second where to put him. Yeah, why not? We'll use Freeze level 3. Alright, so Henri casts Freeze level 3. Hits the Belial for 16 points of damage and defeats it. Got 48 experience and 680 coins. Alright, let's have Gort move over and finish this gargoyle. He attacks, inflicts 18 points of damage, defeating it. Got 12 experience and 440 coins. Start moving some more people over. Have Xylo finish off this gargoyle. Does 16 points of damage, defeating the gargoyle. Got 12 experience and 440 coins. Alright. Move our leader over right there. I'm going to move Balbaroy up a little bit further away, as I kind of want to plan out who I'm going to send down there instead of just trying to send people up towards the bowcaster without any thought, as I want to avoid having people get attacked while they're moving down towards them. Avoid unnecessary damage, you know what I mean. Alright, so he moves up and he's going to take a shot at Gort. Attacks Gort and inflicts 4 points of damage. Let's move Chris down a spot. The golem now moves up as well. Okay, now as you could see, and I'll go out of the movement screen to show this. This passage between the mountains here and the passage around the mountains right down here is really small. They're both about 1 or 2 spaces wide. So you're not going to have much room to maneuver your party through them. So if you're using Almond, Balbaroy, or Blue, I suggest actually having them go down across the mountains themselves instead, to actually save yourself some time and keep and make it just go a little bit faster and smoother for you, so you're not sitting there waiting for them to get through while you have someone else that could have potentially taken that spot that needed it. As far as it comes to... Actually, I don't want Gord to attack him. Xylo, you stay back too, but as I was saying, that way you don't have someone that could have stood there, someone that could have been sitting in that spot more so, that was further back, instead of a flying character, since they can actually just go over the mountains and keep up with everyone that way. Darn, I did kind of want to send May down, but she was one space away from hitting either of them. Let's move Ernest down. Alright, Luke, I think you're okay now too, because you're level 9. Alright, we'll move you down too to potentially attack them as well, Ken. We'll move you onto the mountains right here, Balboroy, and have you attack the golem. So Balboroy attacks. Just 1 point of damage and got 2 experience. I'm not too bothered by that. I'm not expecting him to do much of any damage to a golem. And so the golem moves up and attacks Balboroy. Instead of staying where it was to attack him, I don't know why. Balboroy quickly evades, very nice. Liking that. The bowcaster moves over 1 spot to attack our leader. Hits him for 9 points of damage. Looks like we might not actually get too much further before I end off this video. But then again, I was figuring that this fight might potentially start taking 3 videos. So sorry if that bugs anyone, but I was potentially expecting the fights to start taking more than 2 videos here, guys. Because they're starting to get to the point where they are taking a decent bit of time. And in post, I'll actually mark down how long the damage and everything in that fight. So May inflicted 16 points of damage and finished off the golem, got 38 experience, or got 380 coins. And I'll mark the experience in post. Try to get this bowcaster killed at least before the video ends. Alright, have Balboroy attack the bowcaster. He does 10 points of damage and got 17 experience. Level increased to 6. Defense increased by 1. Hit points increased by 1. Let's move Ken over and see if he can finish him off. Ken attacks, the bowcaster quickly dodges, Ken gains 1 experience. The second allows moving up and attacking May. He attacks and does 1 point of damage. Yeah, also don't forget that these guys can cast Freeze level 2 on your party, so be careful of that when you're moving down past those mages, the mage enemies as well. Alright, Ernest, take your shot. Hits the bowcaster for 18 points of damage, defeating it. Got 34 experience and 900 coins. I'll do what I can with this Belial before the video ends here, but we only have about a minute, so we're probably not going to get too much done. Let's start moving people down into the little mountain pass there. Yeah, we'll move you over there. Move Ken down into the pass. Move Luke down. The other Belial's going to move up and cast Bolt on Xylo here. He takes, ouch, 13 damage, darn. We'll have to heal him now too. Alright, Ernest, take your shot at the Belial here. Does 12 points of damage and got 27 experience. Level increased to 7, attack increased by 1, speed increased by 3, hit points increased by 1. Alright, I'll move over and try to hit this Belial as well. He inflicts 4 points of damage, got 9 experience. Alright, so the Belial is now going to cast Bolt on Balbaroy now. Hits him for 13 points of damage, he now needs to be healed as well. Alright, once we get back to one of my character's turns, I'm actually going to end off the video here. So in the next one, guys, we'll continue this fight trying to take out these 2 Belials and move down through the mountain pass. I'll see you all then. As we continue to make our way down towards Demon Castle and take on Mishaela. So until then, everybody remember to subscribe, like, and leave a comment down below if you want. And I'll see you all in the next one. So until then, everybody, goodbye.